are live right now. What's up, people? This is Robert BASSANO. Okay, had some technical difficulties. We should have started on time, and YouTube somehow I ended up every time I telegraph that I'm going to do a hangout. Every time I telegraph I'm going to do a hangout, and I pre-package all the data up and put everything in a description link. First time it happened was with my boy John, who's with us today. We got Event Skeptic on here. We got Lou. We got Mark. And it happened the first time with John and I. They wouldn't even let me broadcast. They gave me a community guideline strike. Well, I didn't get a strike this time. This time, no matter what I put in the title, it gave me this error message. Okay, and the error message it gave me was invalid request. User does not own and cannot manage the video. It's my damn account. Why the hell you mean I don't own it and cannot manage it? All right? Now, I'm not going to jump to conclusions to say, oh, yeah, we're talking about all this cool stuff. They don't want this information to get out. But I think they don't, because every time I telegraphed it, and it happens to be something they might not want people to hear, okay, I've got to go through all of these technical obstacles, okay? I had to restart this thing all over again, dude. I had to redo everything. So this is starting to get a little crazy, all right? Today's title of the hangout is our star constellations, nanodiamonds floating in helium-4. That's superfluid helium. Now, let me be clear. John and I talked about this before we were going to do this today, and we thought we want to take a little bit more time to say, hey, let's look it over a little bit more. Robert, you know what I'm going to do if we talk about this and not looking at it. You know, we got to prove a hypothesis. We got to prove it. You know your motto. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So I'm going to stick to that mantra. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. All right? We're going to go over a lot of information that's put out there that we don't know about, that I didn't know about. And then we're going to develop, you know, probably a few hypotheses on a few different issues and a few different items we're going to discuss regarding the stars we see in the sky at nighttime. Okay? The so-called stars that NASA and all these observatories are claiming they can see in deep space. Now, John's going to bring up some issues regarding things that are said in the Bible regarding, you know, the fact that we could see through the dome. It might be glass, so which means that we could see through it. I'm going to throw out some ideas that there's a potential possibility that maybe what we think we're seeing through could be maybe a refracted or reflected vision of looking back on something else, okay, that might be within our own atmosphere, okay? But I stumbled across this today, early this morning. I was just listening to some music while I was, you know, doing some research for school, and I kept hearing these songs that were coming up, you know, Bruno Mars, Rihanna. You guys saw the first video little teaser video I put out saying, hey, join us at 12:30. And the song I played in the background was Rihanna's Shine Bright Like a Diamond. We hear all these songs where guys are in love, they're talking about shine, you know, you're my star, you know, you're my world, you're my universe, you know, shine bright like a star, all that kind of jazz. And it dawned on me, man, I keep hearing there must be a reason why I'm hearing this in these songs, and it's sticking out with me. So I decided to type in to a Google search, properties of diamonds. Okay? I wanted to know. So I knew a diamond pretty much acts like a prism. Okay? A diamond performs exactly like a prism. You can use diamonds for many applications, and we're going to show you that. All right? We're going to discuss that. Now, am I saying that the stars are diamonds? No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we're going to throw this out there for the rest of you to look into and to consider as a possibility, probability, and viability, that because our own space agencies in whatever country you're in, and if you live in a country that doesn't have a space agency, then you're just your space agency is your own visual observation of what you think is in the sky. But our own space agencies, NASA, can't even tell us exactly what space is, what's up there, how it functions, how it moves about. Well, we're going to show you some videos that are put out there that work to define this, describe it, and illustrate it. Okay? And then we all need to work on this to figure out, how can we definitively provide the answer? Now, there might not be a definitive answer we might be able to put out. But with all this data that I'm locating, especially with the information I recently put out with the European Southern Observatory regarding the lasers that they shoot up into the nighttime sky, and they're hitting this barrier of sodium atoms, I'm now, again, my views and my analysis is ongoing and dynamic. That the fact that they're shooting the lasers hitting this barrier, someone mentioned the other day there might be a buffer. So if there's something beyond this sodium atom buffer to create artificial stars, could the other stars be just above that in some sort of fluid dynamic environment, and they're nanodiamonds, okay? So what I want to do is, to start off with this, is I'm going to show, what we're going to do is we're going to read an article on softpedia.com. It's titled, NASA Finds Diamonds in the Sky. Okay? Diamonds in the sky. All right? I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And I'm going to show this to you guys so you all can see for yourself. We're going to go through the article. We're going to go through some Q&A, some query. My panel guys are going to give, their input of what they believe some of this may be or may not be. But here's the article right here, okay? And for those who want to read along, you can pull the article up yourself. I put it in the description for this show. The article is there. You can click on it. And this is up to Softpedia. This was put out in 2008. Now, why is that date? Why should that date be a factor? Because 8 months later, in October 2008, there was a large meteorite. And as a matter of fact, they said it was a fusion of several meteorites that came together, and they had been tracking them. And this meteorite came down in one clump and exploded over the desert in Sudan. Okay? Now, it just so happens 8 months prior, this article comes out before this meteorite. It was called the Alma-Ata Sita, the Alma-Ata Sita meteorite. Okay? This meteorite, when all the scientists converged on Sudan in the desert, they started to analyze this bad boy and found, just unlimited numbers of nanodiamonds inside the meteorite. Nanodiamonds, okay? I'm going to pull that article up as well, okay? But here we go through this article, and Softpedia says computer simulations suggest space is filled with diamonds, okay? We read all the articles about NASA and what they think space is, what's up there. They're doing all this upper atmospheric testing. They supposedly got all of these vehicles and these contraptions in space. Man, come on, you got people in NASA, when you ask them where does space begin, they don't even know. Because I asked that question to people in NASA. How can you work in NASA and somebody asks you where does space begin and you can't tell them? And you work in NASA. But that's beside the point. So, according to this article, mining diamonds from Earth's crust is a messy business. And again, before I go on to read this, we've all grown up and we've learned that diamonds are basically some unknown process that takes place, under extreme pressures deep within the earth, through some sort of carbon fusion type of reaction, where you have all this pressure and all this heat, and boom, you got a diamond. Okay? No one's ever witnessed it. No one's ever, observed it. They can create artificial diamonds in laboratories, and if you get a diamond, a gemologist to, really look at that thing under a microscope, it'd be really hard to tell if it was a real natural diamond that was created from activities occurring deep under our feet, or it was manufactured. Okay? But here, when they talk about, all mining diamonds is a messy business in Earth's crust, especially if you consider that rather rare on the surface, scientists predict that larger amount of diamonds may be found in our planet's inner regions where they usually form. However, the enormous pressure inside the Earth and the great depths prevent us from mining them out. NASA, on the other hand, says that we don't need to look for diamonds on Earth. We can find them in one of the most unlikely places in the universe, space. Okay? Now, let me be clear. Everyone who is into this movement with the flat Earth, if you're into science, you need to keep this number at the top of your head. The international standard for space was agreed upon at 100 kilometers, 328,000 feet plus. The DOD, U.S. Department of Defense, altitude level for space is at 80 kilometers, 10 kilometers, below the international standard. Why that is, I still don't know. Why DOD says, oh no, we don't agree with it, it's at 100. We think it's at 80, okay? But still, they're trying to launch things beyond 80 kilometers. Can't get there, all right? So now they say, yes, space is packed with massive amounts of diamonds scattered through its immensity. Don't get too excited, blah, 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 blah. They go through that. So they're saying here, this new theory, okay, new theory is proposed by a group of scientists from NASA's Ames Research Center. And hello, Ames Research Center. I know that you're monitoring YouTube because you got 4 quantum computers there, so you can kiss my ass too. So, and it's based on observations conducted within the ultra-sensitive Spitzer infrared space telescope. There ain't no telescope in space.
That's not a scientific. That's not a scientific theory.
Yeah, it's just they're proposing. Is this possible? They're doing the same exact thing we're getting ready to do.
This new speculation.
Yeah. The first proposal that space may be filled with a significant amount of diamonds came in the 1980s. Damn. We're missing a lot of data. But, it's productive for us to start finding out this now, because now we can go back to see what those first proposals were, and I'm going to search for those proposals in the 1980s, when scientists studying meteorites that fell towards the surface of the Earth realized that multiple meteorite remnants that survived the entry into the atmosphere contain relatively high amounts of nano-sized diamonds. A subsequent study showed that as much as 3% of the whole carbon contents of a meteorite remnant that fell into Earth was in the form of diamonds. Okay? The mystery is, why haven't we been able to spot these high amount of diamonds before? Computer simulations clearly show that they're out there, but the fact is that space observations only twice were able to make direct observations. According to, Charles Bushlicker. Is that Bush? Bushlicker? That's how you pronounce that, right? Bushlicker. Okay. Bushlicker. Man, damn, his parents must have hated him. The problem was that the astronomers simply didn't have enough information related to their distinct fingerprint to filter them out of the massive amount of data collected from space. Bushlicker set to finding such signature by creating detailed models of the conditions experienced by matter in interstellar space. Simulations revealed that Spitzer is ideal for making such observations, since space diamonds emit bright infrared light in the 3.4 to 3.5 microns and 6 to 10 microns. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, for those who didn't listen to my interview with the guy from Hubble and the guy from Sophia, supposedly, allegedly, Hubble and Sophia should be able to spot diamonds, because you got Hubble that has a capability of 5 microns, and you got Sophia, which has a capability of 250 microns. Okay? Apples and oranges. That's what Nicholas Veronica says. You know, what we can do and what the Hubble can do is apples and oranges. Okay? The light received by the nanodiamonds from nearby stars, the light received by nanodiamonds from nearby stars gets refracted multiple times through the diamond crystals before being re-emitted into space in the infrared spectrum. So, what they're saying that there's light coming from the stars refracting through the nanodiamonds. So they're not saying that stars are nanodiamonds. They're saying that they still don't know what stars are, but somehow this light is refracting multiple times through the diamond crystals before being re-emitted into space in the infrared spectrum. All right? A second problem related to the detecting the signature of nanodiamonds in space would be that astronomers were just looking in the wrong area of space where the diamond concentration is lower, or simply haven't been using the proper tools for such studies. Diamonds are allotropes of carbon, consisting of atoms of carbon tightly packed in an extremely stable form. It is still the hardest material known to man, registering a factor of 10 on the Mohs hardness scale. This special configuration gives the diamond crystal the ability to take ultraviolet light and convert it to produce a distinctive infrared light fingerprint, meaning that in order to detect nanodiamonds into space, astronomers usually need to look into the vicinity of a hot star emitting high levels of ultraviolet light. They still can't tell you what stars are. All right? Still can't tell you. While in Earth's inner regions of diamonds are formed in extreme temperatures and pressures conditions, in space, nanodiamonds form in rather different conditions. First of all, the pressure in space is close to zero, where, well, under the pressure of our planet's atmosphere, which, even though we are not generally aware of in everyday activities, is simply massive. Secondly, the temperature in Earth's core may exceed 5,000 degrees Celsius. Again, the temperature in space can drop well below minus 240 degrees Celsius. Now, they're talking about space relative to our atmosphere, proximal to us. But 1 million miles away from the sun in a Lagrange range, the temperature is 5,800 degrees Kelvin, right? 5,800 degrees Kelvin. So here's the story that I found online, bbc.com, and this story was put out, let me see, the diamonds can form in outer space and fall to Earth, okay? This article was put out in 2015 by Michael Marshall, and he says, in 2008, a meteorite fell into the Earth's atmosphere and exploded over the Nubian Desert in Sudan. It was the first time a meteorite had been identified and tracked before it hit the planet. And meteorite hunters rushed to the scene. Many fragments of the Alma-Hatasita meteorite, as it became known, were recovered. It quickly became clear that the rock fragments contained diamonds. That wasn't too surprising. Some kinds of meteorites often do, but a new study suggests those diamonds were far larger than any yet seen in a meteorite. According to the scientists involved, that means these diamonds formed in an unusual way. Large diamonds are most likely to form inside a really big lump of rock, like a planet. If they're right, these diamonds came from a planet that existed when our solar system was forming, and that has since been shattered. Okay? It shows a picture of a fragment of one of these things. You don't even know what that is. That could be a rock from anywhere. The results, they said the results were published in the Journal of Geochemia at, well, I mean, they just messed this up, at Chemia Acta. Anybody wants to see this, you can go to this website, download this. And then Masaki Miyahara of Hiroshima University in Japan and his colleagues examined samples of the meteorite. The diamonds are mostly tiny, around 40 micrometers across, although one is almost 100 micrometers. However, some of them appear to have been broken, and the separate crystals are all oriented in the same way. This suggests that some of the small diamonds used to be part of a larger one. All right, this is an artist's rendition of what it looks like. The standard idea is that diamonds and meteorites form when asteroids collide. Again, they're just throwing this out there. They have no idea. The shock of the impact is enough to crush carbon into tiny diamonds, but these diamonds seem to be too big to be explained that way. Instead, they also think there are two ways they could have formed. It could be that the diamonds formed by the slow disposition of the single carbon atoms in the thin gases of outer space, but this seems unlikely. The more likely possibility is that the diamonds form inside a planet, tongue tie, planetesimal, a lump of rock not quite large enough to count as a planet, but far bigger than an asteroid. All right?
Hey, Rob.
Yes, sir.
I got a third one.
You got a what?
There's a third possibility.
What's the third possibility?
Something I was reading called detonation synthesis.
What'd you say? Detonating what?
Detonation synthesis is used to produce different morphological forms of carbon, mainly nanocrystalline diamond powder, nanodiamonds.
Okay.
It's a method discovered in the 1990s. They were trying to develop new ways to make artificial diamonds.
Okay.
And it's known as detonation synthesis. In this process, nanometer-sized diamond grains are created and a detonation of carbon containing explosives. So if you have a meteorite hit through our atmosphere, whatever, and blow up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting. And the next thing I want to go to, this was this other article. This is from geology.com. And, you know, I know Bob Nodal from Globebusters. I think his wife is she's a gemologist. So I sent him a message asking him, you know, to let her know about this. I want to talk to her about it because she would be the rare stone expert, so to speak, to discuss this. I'm more focused on this because diamonds can be used as prisms, okay? Prisms. And when we go look at the bending light experiment again, I'm trying to think to myself, is it, you know, this was an interactive simulation, and I'm gonna wait for it to load up.
Yeah, and they're not rare either.
Yeah, they're not at all.
The construct of it.
So let's just say this was a diamond. But this object, let's just say it's a custom. What's the? I can't do mystery. What is in it? What's the property? Can somebody search what's the properties of diamond? Of diamonds? For the index of refraction.
Oh, properties for the index of refraction.
Yeah, like what? Like the type of light. Give me the nanometers.
Oh, okay.
Somebody search that for me real quick, okay? While I wait, because I want to see if I can turn this into this object right here, a diamond. Shine the light. Say that this was the sun. Okay, say this was the sun. And what's the refraction? Well, oh, yeah, wait a minute, wait. They said it was what? These things give off. Was it? The light is 3.4 to 3.5 microns. Okay. I think I got the answer. So let's go to this. Damn, we can't even go that way. No. So this infrared. This is the highest we can go to infrared, right?
589.29.
589.29.
Yep, that's the
589.
Yeah, nanometers, right?
Yeah. So 589.29.
0.29.
Okay. So let's do that. So let's just say this is our diamond, right? Let's just say that's our diamond. And this is our.
This is the same as water.
Let's say this is our flat Earth. Let's see that. That didn't look right. That didn't look right. Oh. No, we're going through water, right? Let's say we go through water. Look what happens. Look what happens when you go through water. And let's go through air here on the bottom. Look what happens. So we did the light spectrum to that's closest to what we get on a diamond, right? And look what happened. Well, let me see if I can set this so it's just right. 90 degrees. That's your flat Earth right there. Right? That's your flat Earth. Let's go to this right here. Let me get this right at. So you get it right at 90, right? Look what you're getting. Look what you're getting. If what the sun is emitting and what stars are emitting happens to be the infrared light at 5.89 meters going through a diamond. Going through a diamond, you got about, what's that? That's about 45 degrees of refraction and 45 degrees of reflection. And then you're getting some variable, this doesn't even look right here. The way this comes off back here like this, it's not going right back, but that looks about, what, 50 degrees? 50 degrees of direct reflection back. So that's if the upper environment is water, the lower environment is air. Okay? Well, the object we had is air, but if we do the mystery, here goes the mystery A. Mystery A, 5.89 meters, you've got almost 90 degrees of refraction. Now, that can't exist on a ball. Nearly 90 degrees of refraction through a diamond cannot exist on a globe Earth. This is what the sun does on a flat Earth with a diamond. There it is right there. You can't get any better than that. And here goes your...
Hey, Robert.
Go ahead.
Hey, have somebody double check that value, because I'm seeing something that says something different here now.
What's the other value? Let's try that.
It says 2.417.
Yeah, I can't bring it down that low. I mean, that's really, really low.
Maybe somebody else can check, because
yeah, I can't get it down that low. I'm not watching the chat, so if anybody else is, and because there's people out there who know how to do the research as well, see if anybody's put the number out there. I can't, you know, shit, I got one computer, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of you on the panel. Somebody better not be sleeping out there.
I don't hear anybody.
Somebody better not be sleeping out there. So we'll go with that number right now, but let's go with some more tools here. Let me do this. Okay, let's go with a wave. Go with a wave. 5.89. Oh, 589, right? Let's go with this. Okay. 589. Let's get my protractor. 90 degrees. Flat Earth. Let's go with water up top. We got a fluid environment above us. We've got gaseous pressure below us. And here we go. We got the sun right where it's supposed to be. Oh, I can't add any objects. Shit. Let me see what happens. There you go. There you go. That can't happen on a ball Earth. You just can't. That can't happen on a ball Earth. Absolutely no way. Let's do this. John Johnny talked about glass above us, right? Do we want to go with water below? Let's see. No, we can't go. We can't go with water below. That's not what's happening. We gotta go with air. Look what happens with air. You get immediately reflection. You get nothing but reflection. You get no refraction. Now, let's think about this. If this was to be considered true, that means that the Earth doesn't need to absorb the light and heat generated by the sun, because supposedly deep down in the Earth, in the ground, you've got a molten core. Supposedly, you got volcanoes, you got all kinds of eruptions, you got thermal vents in the ocean. So why would the Earth need to get any kind of heat and absorb any of that heat at all from the sun? If this number is correct, somebody can find it directly, please let me know so we can change this. It's your infrared spectrum. Okay? So let's go back here. Let me go to diamonds in space. So here's some of the additional information they're putting out from gemology.com. Right? It's basically repeating the other article, right? They're saying these gems are about 25,000 times smaller than a grain of sand, much too small for an engagement ring. They say here meteorites are a reflection of the dust content in outer space. Calculations show that just a gram of dust and gas in cosmic clouds could contain. Could. They didn't say it does contain. They just said could. Guessing again. As many as 10 trillion nanodiamonds. The question that we always get asked is, if nanodiamonds are abundant in space, why haven't we seen them more often? All right? And again, they're just repeating the same information we just read from that other article. So I don't need to go through that again. Okay, that's gemology.com. So the next document, let me see here, let me go through this. This talks about, this is also gemology.com, how diamonds are formed. They show this little illustration down in the Earth. Here, you see here where they show the asteroid impact, they're formed this way as well. Okay. I wanted to go to, there's a section that actually talks about what the uses are for this. And I want to go to this. This is nanodiamond as a drug delivery system. They've been using nanodiamonds for pharmaceuticals, computers, you name it. There's another document. Here's an example. And right here. Nanodiamond powders can form good abrasive pastes and suspensions for high precision polishing. Nanodiamond polymer composites are applied for manufacturing aircraft, cars, ships, as well as in hard and wearing resistant surface coatings. They are considered potential medical agents due to their high absorption capacity, high specific surface area, and chemical inertness. Applications of nanodiamond thin films have been demonstrated in the fabrication of cold cathodes, field emission displays, nanomechanical and nano-electrical mechanical resonance structures, and were suggested for the design of biosensors as stable biological active substrates after DNA modification. That's right down John's end. Any words, Johnny? Johnny?
He's sleeping.
No, he said he's taking care of a domestic issue real quick.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
I think this is what you were talking about, detonation nanodiamond.
Mm-hmm.
Detonation nanodiamond, also called ultra-dispersed diamond, is diamond that originates from a detonation. A nanodiamond can be created by detonating mixtures of, what's that? Trinitrotoluene and hexogen, and then gathering the remaining soot.
Toluene. Trinitrotoluene.
Yeah. And when you think about all the bombs and munitions being dropped in Syria, what are they creating? And you know, when people talked about what was found in the Libyan desert with all that glass, think about why you got to remove certain people from certain countries. You know, I had been doing a little bit more research in this before we did this show, and I found out that a high concentration of
Sorry.
what was that? What was that? What was that? Hello? Hello?
Hey, now sorry about that. My cursor hovered over something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic.
When we talk about all the explosions and things that are going on in the world, these munitions being dropped, you don't know what's in those munitions. You look at what happened in Libya, what's happening in Iraq. I was reading a research paper where they were finding high concentrations of nanodiamonds in the sand in Iraq. So when people talk about, oh, well, they're focusing on the oil in these countries, these Arab-rich and North African countries, is it really the oil they're going after? I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, when you talk about, when we start looking at the value of diamonds and gold, some of these other precious metals and stones, you got to start asking yourself. You dig up a shovel full of sand in the Middle East, you may have a valuable shovel. I mean, you look at what all of this, what the applications are for this. I mean, it's incredible. If you've got the machinery and the tools necessary, I mean, look at this here. Dental care, cosmetic applications. They're putting this stuff in lotion, deodorant, toothpaste, shampoo, antibiotics, dermal strips, skin cleanser, exfoliant, thermal applications, hair and nail care. I mean, we all complain about our wives going to the salon all the time, getting their hair and nails done. Man, you wonder why it's so expensive? When your your girlfriend, or your mistress, or your boyfriend want to go and get their nails and hair and shit done? I mean, come on. It's not expensive, you know, the cost of all of this is the manufacturing. They're not telling you what they're really using. Shampoo. And this stuff is abundant, man. This is an abundant. This sounds like it's more abundant than the natural resources we have. Biomarkers and biolabeling. Look at this, man. Nanodiamonds. Nanodiamonds, people. Again, I put this document up in the description section as well. You can grab this bad boy and read it. I want to take you guys to this video, and this talks about superfluid universe. All right. I put this in the description and giving this guy credit. His name is Hakan Edgerni. All right. He did this video, I think, in 2000. I think he did it in 2010, 2008, something like that. But I want you guys to see this. I'm going to turn off the audio because I don't want to get no damn copyright strike. But here you go. Check this out. I showed John this video. He didn't like it because of what it said. You see acoustic wave, just read it because you'll tell why John had a problem with it.
Can't read that only.
The constant would be the speed of light. Now this is discussing superfluid helium, saying that the rest of our atmosphere, upper atmosphere, could be a fluid dynamic environment. I talked about this before in my videos.
He get this from you, or he had the same idea that you have?
Yeah. When you throw diamonds and nanodiamonds into the equation, I'm going to show you what that can look like. Because superfluid helium has zero viscosity. What do I mean by zero viscosity? It means that if you had a pool of superfluid helium and every single one of us jumped inside of it, and there was a specialized glass bottom so that people could observe us jumping inside of it, guess what would happen? Nobody would actually see the wave created from all of us jumping inside this pool of superfluid helium. Okay? What they would see is this. They would just see us just stationary. It'd be like something stopped us. And yeah, he described this whole thing. And this falls in line with what Bob and those guys are putting out with regard to this vortex type of environment when it comes to water. If you've got pressure pushing something down from the upper region, only liquid fluid environments create this pressurized equilibrium environment. So when you got something pushing down and the water's got to flow out to the downward region, it just, look, here you go, right here. This is what it would look like. This is our atmosphere, people. This is the world you live in. This is what it looks like. You see that?
Yep.
That is the environment we live in right there. You got the center vortex. Let me go back to that real quick so everybody can see that real quick. Hang on. Let me go back to that again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slow it down so everybody can take a real good look at this, man. I'm gonna slow it down to 1.5 times. Okay? And then everybody can take a real good look at this. Real good look at it. Because if you throw diamonds into the equation, this is what you're looking at. Wait, did I speed that up? Damn right I did. My apologies, people. I sped that up. I didn't mean to do that. That was my fault. I need to slow that down. My bad. Okay. So we slow it down. There you go. Liquid fluid environment. Start looking into fluid dynamics, people. Start looking into fluid dynamics.
Super slow. You Robert?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I've gone quiet for a while, man.
No, I'm letting this play so people can see it. This is an interesting model. It's simple, it's raw,
Yep.
but when you start to conceptualize it and how things are working with the Earth, and then he comes up with this simulated illustration. Inside the pipe, particles move down. So you see how everything is being sucked in to the top, and then being. This is a high-speed vortex. It's spinning everything around, but everything's getting sucked into there, being pushed back out, and it finds this circle right back around again. It just keeps going back around. Oh, it's even better than that.
Go the other way.
How else could you explain what the hell's going on?
So what about this that John don't like?
But the question remains this. For this to exist, that means Antarctica's got to be in here. Because if you throw in electromagnetism, right, for thermodynamic equilibrium, magnets become stronger in colder temperatures. They're weaker in warmer temperatures. So where does Antarctica play a role in this? It's got to be,
The strong magnet.
this has got to be it. I'm not saying that all these layers, but Antarctica plays a role because there ain't no more ice in the Arctic. There you go. I think this kind of describes what Event Skeptic was talking about too. He's got a model where everything is on a conveyor belt. If everything's flowing through here and it's all moving to pull and push things in and flow it right back out, you guys go to Event Skeptic's channel, he shows a model that basically looks like one of those damn flat, what do you call those? Those walkways that move to the airport. So people who too damn lazy to keep walking and jump on this thing so they can move faster.
Conveyor belt.
Yeah, it's just a conveyor belt type of system.
To me, it looks like a weather pattern.
But check this out though. Here's an example of what it would look like. You got a dense material, right? Going through superfluid helium, right? Zero viscosity. You don't see any waves. And this is what you got right here. Look at that. It's incredible. Look how it stayed intact. It kept its form. Look at that.
Looks like a poached egg.
It kept its shape, everything. Look at the pressure. That's the Earth right there. Now look, you see that it spread out?
Yep.
That is exactly what people have been describing what the Earth is. That's an equipotential ellipsoid. And there you go.
A flat upturned edge.
Look at that. Similar shape to the torus. Look at that.
I guess in a way that's possible, given if Antarctica is all the way at the edge and it's higher up than everything else.
Exactly. It's definitely high. Because look, Concordia Station is 8,200 feet above sea level, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know where else that same altitude exists? European Southern Observatory in Chile.
Yeah. And if you fill it with water and put stuff, in various spots within the water, it's all going to look flat.
There you go.
Yeah. You might have to do some research on the known depths of the ocean close to the Arctic and see if it gets shallower towards the edge and gets deeper and deeper as you go away from the Arctic.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would. Common sense would dictate that it would. The closer you get to a landmass, the shallower it gets.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't prove anything. Anyway.
This is an interesting model, man. This video is 35 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want everyone to see that as it relates to superfluid helium. Okay? The next visualization I want to give you guys involves quantum vortices. This is what happens. This is where the speed comes in. Okay? This is where the speed comes in. And again, you've got to get this, you got to get superfluid helium close to 0 degrees Kelvin for it to behave and perform exactly like this. Now, let me stop the video here real quick. We can all see this, right? We can all see this. These are particles. All right. Some of these are particles. These are actually frozen matter put inside superfluid helium. Now, when you look at this close, if I didn't tell you what this was, and hang on here for a second. frozen particle tracers. You see they're using helium and hydrogen.
Okay.
So hang on for a second. If I didn't tell anyone what I was getting ready to show, all right, and asked you, hang on a second. If I were to tell you, if I didn't tell you what you were going to be looking at, and I showed this to you, how many people out there would, their first guess would be, oh, that's a picture of the nighttime sky in outer space? Think about that. I want you to think about that. Because this is a fluid environment. If I did not tell you that this was in a liquid environment, how many people out there would immediately says, ah, that must be a picture of some alien shit going on in outer space? Because that's exactly what it would look like for the first time if this was the first time you're seeing this. If anybody's seen the video I put together where I compared the footage that they took from the STS and this environment, you'll see where I did the comparison. There's some people that can tell the difference, there's some people who can't tell the difference. All right? But when you throw diamonds into this, nanodiamonds into this, nano meaning, I mean, as small as you can possibly get, manufactured, you throw diamonds into this in a cold temperature, in this cold environment, this is what you're going to see. This is exactly what you're going to see. Look at these as nanodiamonds, refracting and reflecting light inside a fluid environment. You don't see any waves created or anything. You just think, oh shit, this stuff, those are shooting stars. Those are satellites. I can see the satellites. Where's the Hubble? Look at the ISS. Oh my God, it's flying across the sky. I mean, come on. This looks like what they've been showing us in these observatory telescopes. When they say, oh shit, there goes the asshole nebula. Or, you know, whatever they want to call it. This is what they're looking at. It has to be what they're looking at. You throw in nanodiamonds up in the sky and superfluid helium, and that's what you're going to see. That is exactly what you're going to see. So, you know, if John's still listening, is light a wave or a particle? In a superfluid helium environment, it's a wave. According to this.
Kind of like that lunar wave people are talking about?
Huh?
Kind of like that lunar wave people are talking about?
Kind of like that lunar wave people have been talking about. When you switch the elements of the experiment, you're now talking about there are no particles. It's all waves. It's all waves. And here goes one of their other videos regarding quantum vortices and superfluid helium. Let me turn this. Check this out. Quantum vortices and superfluid helium. Now, of course, you see this at high speed because the camera was sped up for this. That's not the normal speed everything moves at. It would be moving much slower. So when you look at the nighttime sky, right? Let's just say here for an example, let us break this down.
You're breaking up, Robert. You're breaking up.
Can you still hear me?
You're breaking up.
All right, let me turn it off. Let me get out of the
Turn off Skype.
I'm gonna leave me the hell alone.
Turn off Skype.
I am, dude. Yeah, calm down. Okay, so when you look at this environment again, let's look at it again. This obviously is time-lapse footage, right? Let's say, hypothetically, that your Milky Way galaxy that everybody's claiming to see in the nighttime sky, right? Your star trails. And these particles, these quantum vortices, are nanodiamonds moving through the sky. How about that? These are galaxies. Your quantum vortices moving through superfluid helium composed of nanodiamonds. Take those quantum turbulence right here. Check this out. Quantum turbulence. You got your shooting stars, right? They're not shooting stars. They're actually nanodiamonds that have clumped together, and they're heading somewhere because you've got this high-speed environment in a zero viscosity atmosphere. That's what you have. That's what you have, people. That is what you have. I'll go over this down. Can you guys still see this? Can somebody respond, please?
Yep, you're still seeing it.
Yep.
Just barely hearing
Nanodiamonds were supposed to start in 1987.
Yeah, you're still sounding fuzzy too.
you. Yep.
I'm using a lot of CPU power. This is an entire research document. I can provide this to anybody who wants it.
Fuzzy.
Huh?
You're sounding fuzzy.
Yeah, I gotta close a lot of the shit that I have open. So let me do stop the share screen. I don't know where that's getting. He just disappeared on me. So, where are we at? Is it possible that our star constellations are nanodiamonds? And there's large clumps and groups of them together that give us our constellation charts in the sky. You know, we see all these nice, cool colors. You know, we see it with our eyes, we see it with a telescope. Use your mic, bro. Okay. I think I may need to come out and come back in, huh? Should I come out and come back in?
Yeah. Give that a shot.
But it'll end the broadcast.
Or just
No, it won't. If we on it, it won't end.
maybe.
No, it says this hangout will also stop this broadcast. Do you want to exit? It said it'll end.
Say yes. Because if we stay in it, it will still be there.
If you're wrong, I'm gonna kick your ass. You do understand that, right?
Why don't you try moving your mic somewhere?
With my what?
Move your microphone.
Dude, my microphone is coming out of my computer, dude.
Maybe back it up and move it closer or something.
Let me see something here. Does that sound a little bit better?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, it's just fucking works. What about now?
Say something.
Huh?
Well, say something. Say something.
What about now?
Yeah, no.
Is that better?
Nope.
Is that better?
Nope.
No.
Right, ain't shit I can do about it. Everybody just gonna tough it out. Nothing I can do about it. So, how are we gonna prove this, man? Well,
Man.
that's hard. It's gonna be hard to prove that. And the reason why it's gonna be hard to prove that because I'm still researching the data. Now, based on what I've shown regarding how a diamond can literally act as a prism. Diamonds do act as prisms. There's something else giving the light. There's something else emitting the light. There's some scientists saying that the stars are emitting the light through the nanodiamonds multiple times to create refraction. But if we just focus on our planet.
Hey Robert. Hey Robert.
What?
You're gonna have to fix your mic because it's gonna become unbearable to hear that.
Dude, I'm gonna come out and come back in, but if it ends a fucking broadcast, man, I can't do nothing about it, bro.
Try and mute your mic, and then come back in. There you go. That sounds much better. No, now come on back in. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you can kiss my ass on that one.
That's perfect now. You're good.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You're doing something. You're doing something.
Seriously.
You're playing the dual phone, bro. I know what you're doing.
I don't know enough about computers to do anything like that. Luke?
Is that better, people out in chat? Is it better?
Yep, it's better.
Okay. Yeah, because you got some sensitive people out there. It's got to be perfect for them, and they'll leave the whole show.
You know how it is. You listen to videos, man, where the audio is just completely...
Yeah, I know, man. Skype ain't... They're using supercomputers, man, and quantum computers, and they still can't get the shit right. So what does that tell you about them? You know, they got four $25 million fucking quantum computers at Ames Research, and they still can't get this fucking shit right. $100 fucking million.
I think they get it right. They just don't want to let you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But let's go back to this, all right? If we want to prove this, right? If we want to go about proving this, then we got to start figuring out what the hell the sun is. Because the sun, as massive as they claim it to be, could be generating the light onto these diamonds, given the appearance that the diamonds are refracting multiple beams of light to allow them to shine. Because think about this. When you see, if you've ever seen a diamond just laying out and say like maybe, you know, some sand or just black sand, when light hits it, that's how you spot it. That's how you know, hey, there's something shiny out there, right? Light's got to hit it. All by itself, it's fucking nothing. It's dull. It's dark.
It'll just take on the color of whatever's behind it.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the sun is what's giving nanodiamonds up in our atmosphere the appearance that they're stars. Because based on what I read to everybody, the infrared light is refracting multiple times through the nanodiamonds, which is making it sparkle and putting light in all different directions. If you got a wife or a girlfriend who's got a diamond ring, right? Go into a dark environment, turn off all the lights, get a flashlight, or maybe a low-powered laser, and shine it right down the center of that diamond, and see how many different directions, see how many different spectrums of beams of light and which directions they may go into. It may just shine brilliantly in all directions. That's how stars behave. That's how stars look. That's how stars are observed. So the sun is playing a role in this. It's emitting that infrared light. The nanodiamonds catch this. They're shining out there, giving the appearance that, oh yeah, this is some stuff. I mean, come on, let's be honest with ourselves, okay? Our ancestors have been seeing the same stars in the same sky for thousands of years. They haven't moved. If you can tunnel yourself back to the ancient Egyptian days into another life, I guarantee where you're standing right now, you'll be able to see the same star 3,000 years ago based on where you see it right now.
Right.
Those stars are in a fixed location. They're not fucking millions of miles away from us. When you talk about a nano diamond, you're trying to tell me, even if you got 10 trillion nano diamonds, you're telling me that these 10 trillion nano diamonds, which probably make up maybe a 10 carat, maybe 20 carat diamond, out millions of miles away, somehow got some light, and we can see that fucking thing in a telescope? I don't think so. No, it's not a million miles away. It's not 100,000 miles away. It's within our atmosphere. So the sun is playing a role above that layer of fixed constellations, and those are nanodiamonds floating around in superfluid helium at high speeds. That's how you get your star trails, right? You get your star trail. Everything's is moving around clockwise, counterclockwise. You get some shooting stars. Those are not shooting stars. They can be meteorites. They can be artificial stars. I'm sticking with everything I've said in my videos. So when you see shooting stars, you see things moving in the sky that you believe to be a star. You got three conclusions to come to. That's either fucking fake, what you're looking at, and Ale or the Obayashi Corporation created that light show. Number two, European Southern Observatory shot something up in the sky and they excited these sodium atoms to create an artificial star or stars. Or number three, you've got nanodiamonds floating around in superfluid helium where the moonlight and or sunlight is emitting infrared light to these nanodiamonds, giving us the observable visual view we see in the nighttime sky. So there you go. So I don't know if that supports a logical and convincing hypothesis, but what I can say is this. I got to this point to give myself three options. There can't be a fourth. There's not a fourth option that our constellations are fucking million miles away from us. They're fixed.
Yep.
And if they are a million miles away from us, that means they're fucking huge. They're bigger than the sun. And I don't believe that.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
Let me ask you this, Rob. Let me ask you this. We can observe some stars out there where you can, with high-powered telescopes, I think you can almost, the way that you could pull them in, that's impossible to do that with something from that distance. You know, where you can increase the magnification. You can't do that with something, you know, a few light years away. It's impossible.
It's absolutely impossible because here's the reason why. You can have the most powerful, you know, commercial telescope available. They pay $12,000 or $15,000, $20,000. I've seen telescopes cost $20,000, and they're refractors. When you increase the magnification, all you're doing is trying to bring in more light from somewhere else.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, dude, you go and spend $300,000 on a telescope.
All you're seeing is light from somewhere else, and that light you're seeing,
yeah,
that light that you're seeing, what you're trying to do is capture a larger cross section of maybe some other part of the sky that's emitting a little bit more light, meaning a clump of nanodiamonds, where the moon is refracting that light down into that scope. So it doesn't matter how powerful it is. I mean, you got to look at everything that ESO has in Chile. Most of all of the instruments that they have, they needed to be down there because they said it's the clearest skies on Earth. At 8,200 feet above sea level. 8,200 feet. That means that everywhere else there's an astrophysics observatory. They're not getting clear views. And if you live in the United States and you're depending on your university to give you real, genuine, clear views of the sky, you're not getting them.
Yeah.
You're not getting them. You're getting manufactured data. Manufactured data.
True.
Manufactured data. So I've given 3 options of what the nighttime sky may consist of. They're either artificially created, and I don't think they can create that many artificial stars, but they're exciting sodium atoms with a laser, 22 watt. You can use 22-watt lasers to excite sodium atoms at 90 to 110 kilometers, right? We got 2 Japanese companies that create artificial stars. They already said that. They can even create a distant sun and planet for you. $9,300. That's all you got to pay them. That's per star, though. So if you want to see the fucking Milky Way over Arkansas, you better have a lot of money. And the third option, which is now more viable, probable, and possible, is what NASA said. That in 1987, they started researching this, of nanodiamonds in the sky playing around with cosmic dust or whatever they say it is. They're telling us that potentially every time you go to the beach, you're walking on diamonds. Every time you walk in the desert, you walk anywhere where there's sand, you're walking on diamonds, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. And you might have been so turned off by it because if you're walking your dog on the beach and they take a piss or a shit, you ain't trying to pick up nothing. You're burying it. And this, a crazy thought just came into my head just now. Every time I see someone's dog take a piss or crap on the beach and I see the dog kind of scrape their feet, to kind of wipe their feet, it makes me think of the dog walking in front of you is trying to tell you something. Hey, you might want to look at this shit. It's pretty valuable. That's what I had to have. I know that's just far-fetched, man. You think of that.
There's a diamond in it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, here's the thing, man. When we talk about socio-political and geopolitical issues that's going on in the world, how long they've been happening, you look at Libya, you look at the entire Middle East, and you compare the fact that we're all being deceived to believe that oil, and gas is the future of our next generation for energy consumption. They're not out there for that fucking oil and that gas. They're out there for them fucking nanodiamonds, man. I mean, Mark just told us all. They've got a process where they can create this shit artificially. Think about, just think about that for a second. And think about how robust the financial markets are with regard to precious metals, commodities. Think the fact that every product you use, if you washed your face, you took a shower, you washed your hair, you getting your nails done, whatever, brushing your teeth. Think about the cost of that product that you just bought. And think about the fact that no company will ever disclose to you, hey, we'll sell you equipment to reverse engineer this shit so you can get the nanodiamonds out of it and sell it for yourself. Think about that. Nearly every product we're using right now just for hygiene has nanodiamonds in it. Nanodiamonds. Now, we don't know if they're artificial or they're natural. But if shit has been falling out of the sky for as long as they said it's been falling out of the sky, how much of that shit you think is in the ground right now? Because I can walk down the street right now on the sidewalk, and on a hot day and a clear day, man, you start seeing the ground sparkle a little bit, and you know that's maybe some sand or some shit on the ground. But when you think about the process of how they make concrete and how some stone-based type of materials are used for pasting and whatever else they tell you, you start to think now, holy shit, now I can understand why this shit could be important to people who are very wealthy. All they're doing is just harvesting all this shit to take somewhere else where it may not exist, like on an island where it's just nothing but vegetation, and you got maybe 10 feet of beach. That's all you have. How much of this you think is in the ocean? Think about that. The ocean is not, the bottom of the ocean is nothing but sand and soot and dirt and soil.
Fish.
Look, I'm not saying that they're not drilling for oil and gas, but the other shit that maybe we need to start looking into what these drilling companies, what their agreements actually entail. Do they have every oil and gas company actually, they all have mineral rights to what they do, don't they? That means that anything that comes up through that pipe, other than oil and gas, they harvest that shit, and it gets sold.
Yeah.
It gets sold on the world market, man. You go digging in your backyard right now, and your neighbors start looking at you and say, "Hey, what are you doing, Mark? What are you doing, Luke? You going to China?" No. What are you digging for? What are you digging for? Why is that hole so damn deep? Why is it so big? You going to bury something? Nope. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. No, I believe you. What are you digging for? I'm digging for nanodiamonds. Man, your neighbor will call the police, have your ass arrested. And then if it turns out you did find some nanodiamonds and you learned how to prospect it and separate it, you know, on the nano scale, and you say you got a graduate degree in nanomechanical engineering, which I see a lot of my classmates talking about shifting their graduate majors to nanoscience. Okay, if you learn how to prospect that, shit, you got your own house. You're gonna go to the hardware store right now and start digging up your damn backyard. Because now you figured out how to create a device to separate the nano diamonds from the ground. And you just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. You keep sifting and sifting and sifting, and then eventually you got maybe 5 pounds a bag of this nano dust. You take it to your local jeweler or whoever and he'll say, "What do you got there?" "I got 5 pounds of nano diamonds." "What?" Man, they'll go lock the fucking front door and says, "Okay, listen, we're not taking any customers right now. Can we take a look at this?" That's exactly what they're going to say. And they're going to ask you where you found it. You can't tell them where you found it. Because they're not going to be a jeweler who actually knows that they're actually walking on the same damn shit that they're selling. What's up in the sky, people, is either artificial, or it ain't what you think it is. Stars are not a gaseous body. Man, maybe some are. Maybe some of what the planets that they show us in these telescopes, they are balls of gas. Or maybe they're just blurred images of a giant fucking diamond. Maybe they're just giant images, blurred images of a giant diamond that's giving off refracted fucking light. You ever think about that? Because if you zoomed in, if you held a diamond up, a big one, from a distance, and you zoomed all the way into it, you're going to get that prism type refracted view. You don't know what the hell you're looking at. You can't see through it. You can't see through it. I think the planet may be nothing but giant fucking diamonds giving off a specific type of light. And that's how they create the colors of the planets, you know, that they say are Jupiter, Venus, Uranus, Mars.
There are different colored diamonds.
Exactly, and that's my point, is that when we did the bending light virtual experiment simulation, when you think about that, that means that Mars is giving off a high level of red spectrum infrared light to give the appearance that it's red. and the other planets are giving off multi-spectrums of light on the ultraviolet spectrum scale, and all the rest of the planets are giving off their own colors of ultraviolet light based on the distance that they may be away from the Earth. Mars ain't fucking 1.4 million miles. Jupiter, Venus, they're not all that far. I believe these are not places that we could go to land on to populate. They're just giant fucking stones emitting light. Nana says in chat, the planets are luminaries. I agree with her. But something's giving off that light. It's got to be some sort of matter.
You know, it could be a combination of both. Maybe there are some that are actual physical, and some are, you know, more along the luminary line.
You know, to be honest with you, I think that this really comes down to where the Earth is really a conscious manifestation of a physical, virtual world, and there is nothing fucking else out there. I mean, they're talking about that. They said that the Alma meteorite in Sudan, they think it came from somewhere else. Now, get this. If they discovered this in 1987, say they discovered it even sooner than that, that means something out there. Can somebody mute their... I'm hearing echoes, man. Mute your mics, please.
It's John. Hold on.
Hey, yeah, I just got back.
Yeah, mute him. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of...
You hear me?
Yeah. So the thing I'm thinking about right now is if this has been a discovery they've been keeping a secret for longer than 1987. Okay? Longer than 1987. What would be the purpose for not telling people that what's in the skies above us is literally, that's what they describe in the Bible as paradise. Paradise. Could you imagine? Could you just imagine that the entire sky above us is nothing but fucking diamonds, dude? Diamonds. And then on the ground as well. Could the Bible and the Quran and every other doctrinal treatise of how to live is talking that this is paradise? Because everything they said you can find out in space above us is right here on the ground. Every element we are made of, the human being is made of, can be found in the ground. Every element. And if you knew which elements to put together and how to put them together, you create another human being. Of course, that's where John comes into play, because he knows much more about DNA than I do.
Well, let me come into play. Let me come into play right now.
They talk, John, you remember when I read in the paper that they were actually using nanodiamonds to literally alter DNA?
Yeah, well, Scripture doesn't say. Scripture says that the stars are angels. So there's that.
They're angels made of diamonds.
For me.
Yeah, that's something that that's something we don't have the equipment to test.
I'm not trying to remove the spirituality from people's construct, but I'm going somewhere with this, and some of you who saw my videos know where I'm going with this. The more and more data that I'm starting to find, it tells me that is revealing to me the elements of what this world may be and how it's constructed. It's seeming more and more artificial to me that this shit that's coming out of the sky and things that are in our environment is manufactured.
Hey, Robert. Robert, let me ask you.
And not by some creator who just decided, and this is just me. It's me saying this, and I know John and Luke are going to jump on my ass for this one. But for me, a lot of these discoveries are starting to reveal themselves in a manner that's more consistent with artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence? What about intelligence?
Yeah, what about intelligence?
Yes,
Yeah,
somebody
that's
would
why.
have to create.
That's why I said both of you were going to jump on me for this.
Well, somebody would have to create the artificial intelligence.
Well, is a diamond artificial?
I don't know. Well, you can't. Well.
Mark just explained to us how they can actually be created in a laboratory.
I mean,
Yeah, but who's creating them in the laboratory?
that doesn't mean they're artificial, though. It just means that they were created in a different way. You know, they use the same ingredients. It's just it's done by a different method. You know, they're man-made, not artificial.
Well, let me go a little bit further. The lie that's being told to us for decades, centuries, millennia, is a lie to get us to believe in some sort of metaphysical, spiritual, religious type of construct based on an entity that just willed itself into existence and decided, you know what, I'm bored. Fuck it. Let me create the Earth. Let me create the...
It couldn't will itself into existence because it couldn't pre-exist before it existed. It always was.
Well, then, there you go. It didn't. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't exist. And
I would say the lie is completely opposite. The lie is that God does not exist.
Yep.
And that's the lie that they've been trying to push. That the evolution, the Big Bang, all this other stuff that would show that everything came from nothing and that there's no need for God because God doesn't exist because He's not happening.
yeah, but you have a collective majority of the world who is being deceived every day of their lives that what they experience in the world, what they see in the world, what they're being told is up in the nighttime sky or in their environment. Like, for example, looking up at the nighttime sky in the constellations. Mark, you know, John, we're all military guys. If we all would have went through land navigation course together, right? And we had to sit in that classroom to listen to the instructors tell us how to navigate using the constellations. But we all knew, we all had an idea in 1987 when we read the same research paper that there's diamonds up in the sky acting as prisms, using the sun to reflect all of the light that we see, giving the appearance that they're stars. Do you think we'd have problems in that land navigation course when the instructor tells us, oh, use the Orion's belt and the North Star and the Pole Star and the Polar Star to navigate to find this direction? We'd all look at that instructor and be like, excuse me, can I tell you something? Those are not fucking stars. Those are nanodiamonds. The instructor would look at us and be like, you know what? The three of you, outside in my office. I mean, it totally disrupts the idea of a spiritual world that everyone is led to believe that was created by one entity.
How's that?
For me, it doesn't. It's not making sense for me to believe, you know, in everything the Bible is saying.
Well, they're just telling you.
I'm saying that there are things that I'm coming up with that support what the Bible is saying, but the idea of God for me is non-existent.
Well, then you have to conclude that something can come from nothing, and number two, that ink, paper, and glue molecules can author technical instruction manuals and blueprints and then design robots. Because you got thousands of protein robots inside of you. So what you're saying here is that the wind, waves, and erosion and gravity constructed robots.
And that's impossible.
Yeah. That's what you're left with.
It's impossible because you don't want to think of it as a possibility.
No, I don't, because matter is inanimate. It's not alive.
Whoa.
Well, plus,
Is
nothing like that has ever been observed in human history.
Did you just say matter is inanimate? It's not alive.
Inanimate. It's not alive. That's correct.
So,
like my computer desk, I can't ask my computer desk to give me a recipe for an omelet.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What's happening on the quantum level when you're not observing what's happening?
Well, if somebody knows the path information, then matter exists. Simple.
So what you're saying is that when we're not looking and you don't know the path information, nothing's happening. That's what you're saying?
If I'm saying that if we're not looking at something, it doesn't have to be rendered.
Yeah.
So you're saying nothing exists when we're not observing and we have knowledge of it.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying it doesn't have to be rendered.
Okay.
But if there's
So
if me, you, and Mark and Luke are sitting there and we see a mountain to our right hand side. We all look and there's a mountain. We all look away. That doesn't have to be rendered until we look back. But it has to be rendered. It has to be a mountain when we all look back, because we knew the path information before. The knowledge existed that mountain was there. So when we all look back, that mountain's there.
See, that goes against the idea of metaphysics, because we're all sitting here right now, and I could have a thought to render. I could have a thought.
And what's a thought?
To come up with a manifested physical idea of what I want to see. And when I turn around and say to you, hey guys, look at that balloon over there, and you guys turn around, you're telling me, because I thought of it. If I didn't say, hey, look over there and see that balloon, I just said, hey, turn around. And there goes a balloon. And then I ask you, what was I thinking about? You're not going to.
I'm not following you.
You're not. You're saying us that you just said that if we were all sitting together and we turned around and looked at a mountain, that because we turned around and looked at the mountain is there.
Yes.
But we don't have. But when we're not looking at the mountain, it doesn't have to render itself, meaning it's non-existent.
Yeah, it doesn't have to render.
No, see that I don't believe that. No.
Mechanics is telling you that.
Let me rephrase that. No, let me rephrase that. Let me take out the word belief. That's bullshit.
Well, quantum mechanics tells you that. So then you
when we showed
have to deny.
When we showed the double slit experiment on that video, the act of observation changed the whole damn experiment.
No, there was no observation in that quantum eraser experiment. Nobody.
The double slit.
Nobody was observing the quantum eraser experiment. There was no observation.
So if you just decide to program the experiment to run on its own and walk away, you're saying there's nothing going to happen.
Hey, you guys want to hear something funny?
No, I want to hear what he says. I want to hear what he's going to say on this one.
The delayed choice.
I want to know that if I put the experiment together and says, here goes a remote control, John. I want you to go to your house and just push the button. And I'm not going to be looking at it, but I need you to tell me, do you think something actually really happened?
That's right. That's right. It's a fire and forget experiment. No one has to observe it because the path information is designed into the experimental setup.
Okay, so that means that when you came back to the experiment, should you see any particles that might have hit the other side of the detector?
If particles were fired, you have to look at the coincidence counter or the data that, yes, and then you will find the answer again.
But you didn't observe it.
That's right. No one observed it anyway.
But if I just gave you the remote control and didn't tell you what it was for, and you pushed the button to start it, and then I take you to where you say to me, hey, take me to where this device was, and I take you and say, hey, all right, before I show it to you, are you going to see photons that hit the screen or not? What are you going to tell me?
I'm going to see. First of all, I'm not following you here.
Well, you should be following me. I'm telling you, are you going to see anything on that screen when you show up? Yes or no?
I'm going to see the data from the coincidence counter. Yeah, if you ran the experiment.
This is a guy that says he doesn't believe in artificial intelligence, but you're relying on mechanical tools.
I didn't say I didn't believe in artificial intelligence.
You got to read the data on the incident counter.
I didn't say I didn't believe in artificial intelligence, but that artificial intelligence had to be programmed by somebody intelligent. It didn't invent itself. It didn't create itself.
It all has to do with thought, man. Thoughts become things.
Yeah, but somebody have to thought of it. Someone have to think of it. Because without any soul to think of it, it will not be there.
A soul, the idea of a soul is moot.
Well, I'm thinking of a pizza. I'm thinking of a pepperoni pizza right now, and I don't see a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, because there's certain steps you got to take to manifest that pepperoni.
Yeah, but you said only a thoughts become things. Well, I just thought of a pepperoni pizza. And
yeah. Thoughts do become things. You think of it, and then you develop a method to go materialize it.
Yeah, right. I got to call the pizza delivery and tell them to deliver me a pizza. That's more than a thought. Right?
For me, there was a question always asked in artificial intelligence. Can you prove you're self-aware? Can you prove self-awareness?
Well, I'm here talking to you.
I'm asking the three of you.
I'm here talking to you. Is that proof?
That you're self-aware. Can you prove?
Yeah, I'm talking to you right now. I'm self-aware.
Well, I can be talking to a machine. You can't prove it to me.
Well, do you think this information that I'm giving you is coming from, where do you think it's coming from?
I can be talking to a voice-activated machine learning program. How about that?
Who programmed the machine?
Well, too bad I don't have your code because I programmed you. Luke. Or should I say
they can't get away from it, boy.
Tell him again, Luke.
They can't get away from it, Robert.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Look, you saw in that video where if you're dealing with superfluid helium, and John, you have to take care of business. I showed them the video whereby when you include superfluid helium, you're looking at a particle becoming a wave. How about that? Light wouldn't be a particle anymore. It would be a wave.
Light's a particle.
When you change the environment, you're looking at light being a wave in superfluid helium and not a particle. So
light is particles. They are photons.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I want you to stick to that one because I'm going to put that on your headstone when you die.
I'm fine with it.
It's going to say, John, what a great man, loved hangouts. and then I'll put down at the bottom our argument. Sorry, brother, but it's always going to be a wave.
Okay, then you have to falsify. These are 2 Nobel Prizes. The photoelectric effect. The photoelectric effect and Compton scattering. You need to falsify those.
Okay,
two Nobel.
The environment the experiments conducted in, which happened to be on that video, which was helium-4, cooled down to almost absolute zero, light became a wave. They showed it on the video. I showed it to everyone who saw it.
Yep.
It became a wave. They showed it. They proved it visually.
Light is photons with an associated electromagnetic field.
Okay.
But it's a photon. See, photons photons create the electromagnetic field, not the other way around.
Okay.
But so why do they act like waves? Why do they act like waves?
Why does what act like a wave?
The proton.
The photon, why does it act like a wave? Because it has an associated electromagnetic field.
Well, guess what? I might be wrong about this, but I'm going to leave you to prove it wrong. Superfluid helium, zero viscosity. There is no electromagnetic anything in a zero viscosity environment.
Why do I have to disprove it? You have yet to prove it.
We did in the video.
You have yet to prove that superfluid helium is in space.
Yeah, we showed it in the video what happens if you were to change the environment. I'm not saying that I don't want you to think that I'm vehemently sticking to the idea that space is superfluid helium. What I'm saying is that in that experiment they conducted on the video, you had liquid helium cooled down to almost absolute zero. They put in frozen particles inside this detector.
I know what it is. I've seen it before.
And they revealed the particles behaving like waves.
So you've seen waves.
That's what they showed.
How can you see electromagnetic waves?
Okay, I didn't say they were electromagnetic. I'm telling you they were waves. I can't tell you if they were electromagnetic waves.
What type of waves? Were they
revealed,
were they displacing a medium? Like a water wave?
No. It was all moving in unison together. Because that's what superfluid helium does. Everything, the reason why it's zero viscosity is because all of the atoms are actually moving in unison together at high speed. They're not colliding with each other. There's no vibration. They're all moving together. So what they revealed in the video was one single wave. They showed it 3 times.
What's the wavelength and frequency?
They didn't reveal that. They just showed it in a video. The paper that they developed, which I have, they actually detail all of that technical numerical data.
Yeah.
And that was a video I put up, a couple of months ago. I actually downloaded the paper from the University of Maryland. But I want to relate that to the nanodiamonds in the atmosphere. Let's just say if we were to compare that to the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment. If you've got all these nanodiamonds on the other side of the detector, right, coming through the double slit, and they're hitting all of these detectors, could that be an explanation for why some people say they look up into the sky, they see a star, and then all of a sudden it just fades out and disappears?
Well, first you have to prove that there's nanodiamonds in our atmosphere.
Well, no, listen, just go along with this for a second, because it disappears in the sky, John. You can't deny that.
What disappears?
You can look up in the sky and you see a star, and then all of a sudden you see it flickering, and then you don't see it anymore if you focus on it.
Yeah, but the cause of that, you need to validate the cause of that.
I tell you what, man.
Right? No, I'm not messing with
the next show we do, you're gonna have to prove to me you ain't got a fucking Bible next to you, man, right now.
I ain't got what?
You gotta prove to me you ain't sitting next to a Bible right now, man, because you clinging to that Bible, man.
No, I'm not clinging to no Bible right now. I'm just asking you if you want. See, I can't disprove something you haven't proven yet.
Neither can you prove what you can't explain.
What do you mean? What are you saying I can't prove?
Where did God come from? Where did God come from?
I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
Where did God come from?
I told you he always was. Can't create himself.
Always was what?
Always was him.
Was him.
Yeah, he can't create himself, dude, because...
So if he can't create himself, who created God?
Say that one more time?
He's energy. You cannot destroy energy, and energy cannot be created.
God can't create himself. Who created God?
How many times I got to tell you, you can't have somebody create itself. That would mean it existed prior to its existence. It's a logical implosion.
So, wait, okay. I want to focus on this right now.
Okay.
Hold on. It's not
No,
that
I want to focus on what you just said.
not that different than everything coming from nothing.
He's saying this. He's saying God was. He can't create himself. But then he jumps on me for saying, well, when you can create something out of nothing, let me know.
Well, you got two. That's right. You got two choices for how we are here.
How
it's
did
either
God,
nature.
How can you explain how God was created, or how could He exist if He can't create Himself?
Because He always was. I just explained it to you.
No, that's not an explanation.
Yes, it is.
Guess. That's the best guess.
No, that's not a guess.
You're sticking to the Bible.
It's the only logical conclusion.
Exactly.
How's that logic? That's not logic.
Yes, it is.
That's logic to you.
Yeah.
It's the only logical conclusion. If all this had to be created by something, and then once you get back to the thing that created everything, then you ask, well, what created that? Well, it can't create itself, so the only conclusion is it always existed. Now that's mind blowing. Granted, I'll give you that, but it's the only logical conclusion.
But his other choice, see, the other choice that you're doing
on the beach. If you see the sandcastle on the beach, your only logical conclusion has to be somebody made it.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, and I don't want you guys to take this too personally because you know I love all three of you. Okay, I'm of the conclusion that you all have an inferiority complex to Hold on.
Only in your presence.
No, hit me out. No, not me. No, it has nothing to do with me.
No, that's the only time we feel inferior.
I believe, I'm of the understanding conclusion that all of us are at different levels of conscious transcendence. Okay.
Thoroughly lacking, lagging behind.
There are people who have been programmed to believe this has to be it. There's no other way. You sat with your pastors, your bishops, whoever,
I didn't sit with them. I didn't sit with them. I did experiments.
Okay, whatever. What I'm saying to you, if you're going to try to continue to convince me, and I have no problem with you trying to continue to convince me, because this will have to be something really fucking profound that happened to me for me to say, oh man, you guys have been right. Because you're saying God was always is. He couldn't create himself.
That's right.
But somehow he pulled rabbits and cows and ducks and sheep and human beings and monkeys out of his ass, okay, to create everything it is we see on this earth. All right? So you're saying to me, and the reason why I want to clarify what I mean when I say that I come to the conclusion you guys are in an inferiority complex, because what you're saying to me is that none of you want to understand and comprehend or even try to fathom logically that you could manifest, you could always have been what you are, and you could manifest something out of nothing, but because you don't see it.
Something out of nothing?
Will you shut the hell up and let me finish? Please. You guys are trying to convince me that I have to go through this method. I have to engage in this method to prove the scientific method, to prove the science and present a hypothesis, to prove to you, here's how I can go against your first two laws of thermodynamics.
Oh, you're finished.
Okay?
You're finished.
Because I can't show you, then it can't exist. I can't do it.
Yeah, you can't falsify it.
Complex. That's it. To me.
No, it's not.
To being told you are inferior as a human being.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
No, you can deny that it's not all you want to. I'm telling you, my response is you have settled for the fact that you've been told you can't do what you believe your God is,
What?
which is nothing.
And what's your support for that?
What's your support for it? Oh,
Okay,
he always is. Your support is he always is.
That's right, because if he's not, if you keep on asking who's the creator's creator, that's an infinite regress fallacy. It's a logical fallacy. That's what you're doing.
So what you're saying is that you're putting a definitive on it.
Yep. It's called the ontological primitive, or the prime mover. Exactly. It has to boil down to that. Yep.
Yeah. It's called the Pope has been drinking his own fucking wine.
I'll tell you what. I can show you right here. You ready?
Oh God, here we go.
Okay, let me share my screen. Let me just show you this. It'll be real short.
Hey, go ahead, scientist. You can just manifest it in your mind. You can do it. Share your screen. I love fucking with John. I really do. I fucking love fucking with him, dude.
Hey,
Go ahead.
when somebody can manifest something out of nothing, then I'll give it a thought.
Well, that's what you claim God did.
Well, but we're not God.
So what are you?
I'm one of His creations.
You're one of His creations.
Yeah.
Are you seeing this?
Via my parents.
Oh, I don't see shit. You gotta click on the thing on the side of the screen, John.
Yeah, I did.
It's just screen share. No, you ain't sharing nothing.
Just think
Yeah,
about it. Really
I
hard.
did screen share. Go ahead and allow me.
I'm presenting you, dude.
Just
You're
think
being
about
presented.
it.
You're being presented.
Are you seeing it?
No, there's still nothing. You want to know why? You want to know why?
Is your video off or something?
No, I don't have the video. No, I'm serious. I'm not messing with him.
Or does John have it on? There it goes. There you go.
I'm not messing with him.
Okay, you ready?
Oh, here he goes with this damn thing again.
Are you ready?
Hang on, let's you back to see it on the watch page. There you go. It's on the watch page.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, whatever, man. Go ahead.
No, we'll just go through it. It's real short. Okay. Natural phenomenon versus intelligent design. That's your only two choices that you have.
Why? What? See, and we went through this, John, before. I'm not going to get redundant on this. Why do I have to settle for two choices?
I'm going to show you in 1 second.
Well, hold on. Robert, is there a third?
You can't preach God to me. Listen, you can't preach God to me.
Would you wait a second, and then I'm going to show you.
Please understand this. You're going to have to really dig down deep for this one, because if you're going to
Okay, I will.
two choices, and then God gave me fucking free will, but I only got two fucking choices. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, are you ready now?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, you only have two choices as to how we are here. Either nature, unguided, or intelligent design, God guided. The laws of physics, chemistry, biochemistry, information, the tenets of functional sequence complexity, specified complexity, irreducible complexity, and common sense rule nature out. Laughingly so. If you summarily rule out one of the choices, where does that leave you? Based on the law of non-contradiction, two things that are contradictory can't be responsible at the same time. This is not a false dichotomy or a bifurcation fallacy, because there is no third choice. Okay? Here's some backup for you. This is George Wald, Nobel laureate, medicine and physiology. You ready? The reasonable view was to believe in spontaneous generation. That's your nature choice. The only alternative to believe in a single primary act of supernatural creation. There is no third position. Do you understand that? Okay? So my argument is an intelligent designer. Let's go to this one. If you're walking down a deserted beach with a group of friends and family and come across a sandcastle, one of those really impressive ones, I'll show you one here in a bit, would you say out loud, "Wow, that's awesome. I can't wait to come back tomorrow and see what the wind and waves, erosion and gravity will make next"? I surely hope none of those family members or friends are mental health or law enforcement, because this is what's going to happen. right? How do we come to the conclusion that an intelligent agent built the sandcastle? We didn't observe anyone building it. It's called functional sequence complexity. The difference between this and that. See that? That's the difference. That's natural phenomena. This is not natural phenomena, right? So, the functional sequence complexity of a single, simple living cell dwarfs by exponential magnitudes that of a sandcastle. A single living cell contains hundreds to thousands of hyper-nanotech protein robots. And if you have any question with that, here's the grand poobah of geneticists, the geneticist of geneticists, Dr. Craig Venter. Over the next 60 minutes, I explain how life ultimately consists of DNA-driven biological machines. All living cells run on DNA software, which directs hundreds to thousands of protein robots. To say no God, you must conclude that natural phenomena, wind, waves, erosion, gravity, constructed robots. There you go. I'm done.
Possible.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I want to show you something. And
Okay. You want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, I can stop sharing. I want to show you and everyone else something else.
Okay.
And well,
Did you understand? Did you understand what I just said?
I didn't need to understand it. I heard what you said.
Okay. Do you agree that there's only two choices?
No.
So
Never.
you're saying that there's more than two choices. You're disagreeing with George Wald. Okay. What is the third choice?
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to get going. I have a something I got to do with the boss.
Okay.
So
You guys
catch up with you later, Mark.
yeah. Hey John, when you get a chance, read that thing I showed you about the Doctor Who show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I'll catch up with you, man.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Okay, so before I show this, right?
Robert, you need to catch up, man.
Yeah, definitely. Before I show this, if I put some sand down on a surface, right? You think I can get that sand to change shape without physically manipulating it?
You personally? Well, if there's wind and waves, it will shift, yeah.
Okay, what about sound?
Probably sound will affect it, sure.
Okay. So you're saying God always existed, right?
That's correct.
All right. But you don't know what form.
It says in the Bible that he's spirit.
Okay, forget about what the Bible says.
Why?
Could it be a sound? Could it be a sound? Could God actually be a sound?
Not according to Scripture, no.
Okay. I just said forget about the Bible.
I can't forget about the Bible.
Yeah, that's my point. That's why you have been embedded with this inferiority complex.
No, see, I started with this. I started with the science and then went back to the Bible.
We all started with the science, man.
That's
and
right.
You're not willing to adapt to the changing times of discovery, man.
Changing times. Is there new science out there?
You ain't willing to adapt to the new discoveries of the changing times, brother.
We need to get.
I'm trying to tell you.
We need to get back. We need to get back to that third position that you were talking about. What's your third choice?
I'll tell you what the third choice is. I got it on my Skype profile. It says if you want something you've never had, then you got to do something you've never done.
Okay.
Third choice is to do whatever the fuck I want.
What's your third choice as to how we are here?
My third choice is whatever I think I want to think. My third choice is coming up with any idea I want to come up with.
That's not a choice.
That's a fucking choice. It's called free will.
No. Yeah, who gave you that free will?
God.
Yeah, okay. You know what, Luke? I tell you what, Luke,
Tell him again, Luke.
Luke, I'm telling you here right now, Luke. you need to go back to Health and Human Resources, change your birth certificate to Judas.
God.
Yeah. So here we go. Here we go.
Tell them again, Luke.
This is a cymatic experiment. I don't know what this material is.
Okay, where'd you get the material from?
Dude, I pulled it out of my ass. I just said I didn't know what it was. Okay. It's just
No, I don't care what it was. Where'd you get it from?
Look, bro, I willed it into existence. Okay.
No, you did not. That's a thermodynamics violation.
Leave me alone. Okay. Let me play the video for everyone. All right. Here you go. Look at this. This is sound.
Sure.
This is what sound is doing to this material. I'm going to assume it's some sort of sand or granule type of substance. I don't give a shit where it came from. But look what's happening.
Yeah, and?
Well, you pulled up that example of that sandcastle.
Okay. Okay, what kind of information is that thing communicating with you?
That actually looked like salt you just put down on the table.
Sure, it's getting affected by sound waves. That's not functional sequence complexity,
Look
though.
how perfectly symmetrical that is.
It's not functional. It's not functional sequence complexity, though.
Look at that. Using frequency of sound. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Look at that.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Perfectly symmetrical. So you're telling me there's a God out there that can do this?
There's a God out there that that's not functional sequence complexity.
There's a God out there that can do this?
What is that communicating to you? Where's the information?
Well, the information is inside whatever this you call inanimate material may be.
The information, that means it's communicating to you. What is this telling you?
It's communicating with itself.
Oh, it is. What language?
Do you know the language of God, other than the Bible?
What language is it using to communicate with itself?
A language unknown to me. It's called frequency.
So you're saying that these things are alive and they're talking to each other?
They must be, because they're all lined up in unison with each other based on a particular frequency that they're all deciding to, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. You see, your God is a clusterfuck. He can't create human beings that can perform like this in unison.
So let me give you another example.
So this inanimate. Hold on. This inanimate.
Hold on.
This inanimate material you're talking about somehow has a mind of its own and can decide to work in unison, saying, okay, we're gonna form this shape, we're gonna form that shape, we're gonna form this shape, we're gonna work on this frequency, we're gonna work with that frequency. Whatever the frequency is, whatever the sound is, this is what we're gonna do.
They agreed to that.
People can't do that together unless you fucking force them to do it by implementing some law or policy that says, hey, we catch you fucking jaywalking, I'm gonna give you a ticket and throw you in jail.
Well, this is a straw man because that's not functional sequence complexity.
Nope, it's not.
What you just saw, you're saying that's not functional sequence complexity.
Nope.
Oh,
it's
John,
not communicating. There's no information there.
Dude, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I know you don't drink.
Okay, listen to what you're doing here. When viewing a magnetic board with the message,
that wasn't a magnetic board. That was not a magnetic board.
Hey. When viewing a magnetic board with the message, be back later, gone fishing, the instructions are on the table, have the exponential, functionally specific, complex space shuttle built when I return, have a nice day, you then conclude that the force between the magnets of the letters and the board is responsible for the construction, arrangement of the letters, and the message.
Well, here's the problem with the example you just gave.
Right.
A magnetic board.
You're saying the same thing.
I just showed you an experiment that involved just pouring whatever it was, salt or sugar, onto a table.
Yeah.
With no type of electromagnetic
observable
property.
Conceptually, it's still the same.
And sound was used to get this material to literally move in a spontaneous manner to form perfectly symmetrical designs that no human being could do
So a snowflake does the same thing. A snowflake has symmetrical designs too, right? But that's not functional sequence complexity.
Nope, it's not.
So it's a straw man. You got a straw man here.
Straw man. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but until you use them songs and you create, let me say, water with it, or let me see, ants, or a fish with it. Well, then you have an argument there. But right now, there's a God.
Okay. All right, Judas. You betrayed the Son of God too, didn't you?
Tell him again, Luke.
There's a God.
Yeah, okay. You see, look, man, I thought, come on, man. You're supposed to be on my side, man. That's all right, though. I appreciate it. You know I do, Luke.
Yeah.
All right, man. So here's the thing. We've been going for a while. We're going to do another show tomorrow. Hopefully they don't fuck with us on that one. But that show's going to be pretty interesting because we're going to have another YouTube viewer, Hank. He and I were talking last night. He's got some interesting information to share with us regarding the distance, the linear distance coast to coast in the United States and I think Africa. And I think what he has is proof that we definitely don't live on a spherical ball Earth, because according to the measurements and calculations he conducted, Kansas would be at an altitude higher than fucking Mount Everest.
True.
So Hank is gonna be here tomorrow. It'll be Luke, me,
Hank Hill?
John. Yeah, Hank Hill. Yeah, Hank Hill.
I might not be here.
Yeah, he's got the information. So I think that this may be the top 10 proofs to put in front of someone who believes in the Copernican idea of a spherical Earth, to prove to them, based on data he got from the government, I mean NASA, showing that when he calculated in 8 inches per square mile, it took the distance coast to coast, and Kansas is supposed to be the flattest piece of real estate in the United States. What he revealed to me was incredible. So that's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to talk to him today. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, man.
Well, we already defeated that argument anyway with the naval railgun.
I want to put it out there on my channel because I never did it before. I never did that. I mean, I put up a bunch of other stuff, but what he came up with last night, man, was incredible. So.
Well, didn't we already disprove it with the naval railgun?
Yeah, we did, but a lot of people, are just like, oh, well, it's 100. It's not 125. It's 110 miles. Okay.
It's what?
It's still 110 miles, but you got to have direct line of sight. I even provided them with the Office of Naval Research website showing the technical data in the railgun, and they're like, oh, well, it's not firing a flat projectile. No, I didn't say anything about what kind of projectile it's flying. It could be firing a ball of shit. It's still fucking, you got to have line of sight.
It's a bullet.
So I mean, you had people who were trying to debunk that last night when I was presenting it.
They can't debunk it.
Well,
They can't. They could try, but they can't.
We're gonna go over that again, and we're gonna show Hank's information.
We'll do the naval railgun again too. Yeah. They can't. They can't debunk that.
Yeah, because Mark came up with that map too. Remember, Mark had said that based on the mathematics, that if the Earth was a ball and you fired the Navy railgun, you would actually the Navy railgun would have to be 9,000 feet in the air for you to hit.
Right.
Yeah, it was 9,000.
Yeah.
Oh, is he back?
Dude, if you were to hit the water line on the ship 120 miles away to shoot a straight line, you would have to be 9,600 feet in the air.
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
We're gonna go over that again tomorrow. We're gonna have Hank on.
But hold on. It's gravity that does all the work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gravity. It has to ascent and descent above that bulge height and come back down. That's a good one.
And I have some ideas on some of what I think data may also relate to, but I'm not going to say it now. And what he came up with. But again, that's additional data that supports, the model. But again, we keep going through this. I'm gonna, after that show tomorrow, I'm gonna put some more focus on this nano diamond idea, because I'm gonna start doing a little bit more research on this and see what else I can find. Because I don't think that let's just say if the Columbia shuttle that exploded when it came back into the atmosphere, let's just say it was just a high altitude, high speed plane, right? It didn't go into space, okay? It was coming back in, and now I'm of the idea, could it have hit? Because the only thing that caused that kind of damage, a diamond could cause that kind of damage. I mean, look, we use diamond drills. You know what I mean? Diamonds could be really destructive. I mean, they use them to drill into rock and get to things that, I mean, they use diamond drills for oil drilling. So could it have been, a diamond that literally hit the shuttle? Because I've seen photos of that shuttle, pieces of it, where they were like all these pot mark holes, like something. Yeah, I know the damn thing exploded, but it looked like someone shot a shotgun at it, from the side. So who knows? But I'm going to be looking into this a lot more. I'm really focused on the constellation thing now, because I think the sun is providing all the light that gives off the refraction for the stars, or it may be the moon playing a role, or something else. But I'm going to keep looking into this. Anybody want to share any information? Feel free, email me, write down my email address, send me the data. Please, give me a little brief summary if you can. I'll look into it a little bit more. John and I'll look into it. Luke will look into it. Mark will look into it. If anybody's got any questions, please do. Ask right now. If you don't have any questions, we'll call it a day on this one. It's been fun. And you guys have been great. You've been patient. But hopefully YouTube doesn't screw with me anymore, because they almost locked me out of my own damn channel.
Operator.
Again.
Tell them again, Luke.
Go ahead, Judas.
Robert.
If no one's got any questions, we're going to call it a day. I want to thank all of you guys. You've been fantastic. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right? I think we'll do what? You guys want to do like 12:30, 1 o'clock? What do you want to do?
I may not be able to tomorrow.
Okay.
Neither will me.
Well, what's a good time for you, Mark?
Well, I just may not be able to at all tomorrow.
You, John?
Yeah, we could talk about it. I don't have a time yet.
So we're up in the air right now, guys. We will do something. It might be during the day. It might be during the evening. Maybe we might do the evening. Who knows? That's probably when it'll probably take place. But again, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Oh, Mark C. This guy, Mark MC, says, Robert, what's the third option? Whatever I wanted to be. Hey, Magic Spirit, please email me that information, okay? He's got something for the lunar experiment at Texas Observatory or something like that. Who's this other person? Aaron Mazzoto, I have a question. Robert, I have a question. Do you know what geopolymer technology is? Or John? John, you know what geopolymer technology? That's involving silicone, right? Silica.
Geopolymer technology in regards to what?
That's what Aaron's asking.
In regards to what exactly?
Do we know what it is? That's the first time I've heard it. I'm just assuming geopolymer technology may be involving, maybe superheating rock up and, using the elements from the earth to create, I guess what? Green tech? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, you need to get up more information from.
Could you create something else, a machine or whatever using geopolymer technology?
No, because genes have information, and you can't get information from. It's not an emergent property of,
Oh, it seems,
iron or
it
something.
looks like here that Magic Spirit wants me to make a telephone call. Those calls are coming up, people. Hey, and listen, there's something else I want to share with you guys before I go. I got an email back from the Secretary of Dennis Tito. He was the first civilian to pay $20 million to the Russians to go into space. Okay? And to go to the ISS. I had sent a bunch of questions to the Secretary. None of them had anything to do with flat Earth. They were just basically, I wanted to talk to him about his ride up there and his experience, yada, yada, yada. Told him who I was. She presented the questions to him. I got an email from her yesterday. Dennis Tito declined to do a 30-minute interview to answer any questions at all. His secretary says that he has not wanted to do interviews with anyone. He's been offered hundreds of thousands of dollars, even $1 million for appearance fee to speak about his experience. He will not speak to anyone about it. So when I told John about this, I've come to the conclusion, him and this guy from Google, who did it as well, one of the executives for Google, these guys won't go on camera to talk to anybody about their experience privately, okay? And I'm to the conclusion that either these guys signed a non-disclosure to keep their mouth shut about this, or they just dumped $20 million into the Russian bank account and they didn't fucking go anywhere. So that's my thing. Because if I drop $20 million to go up into space, people, and I come back, and you guys don't see me put up a video to want to talk about it and answer questions, then I'd expect you to troll the shit out of me. I'd expect you to troll the shit out of me. Because these guys are billionaires, man. And for them not having a desire to speak to people openly about this, I'm calling them out. And if you're listening to this, Dennis Tito, your secretary, fucking shame on you, man. You spent $20 million to be the first civilian in space, and you don't want to talk to anybody about it? You don't want to put up a video or nothing to describe anything to answer people's questions? I mean, the whole program is based on fucking fraud. The whole fucking program. 20 million, and you ain't excited about sharing your experience with anybody. This dude never went up there, and I'm calling him out on it. He never went to fucking space. He was training somewhere else in the fucking Siberian tundra, underground somewhere, fucking around. That's what I think he was doing.
Masturbating.
So I just want to let everybody know, I was trying to set up an interview with Dennis Tito. He don't want to take interviews from anybody, and neither does the guy from Google. So I'm calling them out. You didn't go anywhere. You stayed on the ground. Period. Where all rockets have been doing, staying on the ground. So that's it for me. You guys want to put out anything, man?
No, I'm good.
Luke?
I'm good too. I'm good.
All right. People, it's been fun. I got those numbers for Aaron. I got the number to the Texas place. I'm gonna talk. They said that they shot a laser at the moon. I need to find out about that. I'll see if I can get that call set up. But again, it's been fun, people. Remember, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Peace.